Alrighty, so my name is Dillon Massey. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in geography, international studies with a focus on Latin America. I'm a honor scholar. That's cool. So what I did this summer, I lived in Peru for 3 months. Worked with the United States Agency for International Development at U.S. Embassy Post Lima. Interesting experience. These aren't my pictures. It's really hard to get pictures in the embassy. They'll take your phone or your camera away from you really quick. They're on top of that. So this is just a general outline of kind of what I went to do, why I was there, and what I learned. So this word right here, you can see a lot of this, capacity building. USAID likes to use that a lot. So task and goals, short-term, long-term goals. When I work at USAID, I'll kind of go over this a little bit. My main task was a GIS, which is a Geographic Information System, which is focused on managing data focused on Amazonian initiatives, which I'll talk about in a second. The use of a new interactive online GIS software, ArcGIS Online, in its pilot phase at the USAID, and compiling a bunch of data and making it fit together and work. So capacity building and mapping, I spent about a month in Puerto Maldonado, which is a small Amazonian city in southeastern Peru, in the Madre de Dios department, working with the college there, helping understand how they use GIS, helping help them implement the use of GIS better, and helping kind of, this word again, build capacity for GIS. And then what have I learned? How did I, with the help of Dr. David Salisbury in the back, tie this into my academics here? And what did I learn after doing all this data techie stuff? So here's my desk. This is a few pictures I got. I snuck these really quickly. So task and goals. What do we use GIS for? I'll kind of read through this really quickly. Interpret, understand, and assess data associated with ECA, which is the Initiative for the Conservation of the Andean Amazon, which three goals are to decrease the rate of deforestation in Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, formerly Bolivia, increase natural resource governance, and increase the quality and sustainability of the livelihoods of Amazonian inhabitants. Also, the next bullet, strengthen and build relationships with the consortia, which range from people like the World Wildlife Fund to the Nature Conservancy, on what data they have, what data they've given USAID, and how we can work to use GIS with them. Also, to observe best practices on organizations that we're working with to help better suit USAID and lend development work to the use of GIS, because development work in itself is easily compatible with using a geographic information system to do targeted work. Alrighty, so my GIS task. I work primarily with the Geo Center, which is centered in Washington, D.C. It's only been formed for about a year and a half now, 2 years. It's an infant in the government world, I guess. So, and their goal is to uniformize, I don't know if that's a word, but right now it is. The use of GIS throughout all the different agencies, all the different posts around the world. Because when I got to Embassy Lima, there was only one GIS license, and it was for me. There was no one there who was really using GIS, so they kind of threw me into a folder of data and was like, have fun. So my real goal was to create a data management system, which I didn't know at first. And that was really difficult because I hadn't really done that before. So working with data is a lot different than just making maps. So I worked to kind of create a sustainable system for when I left, and the AAAS fellow would come in after me, that she could use and help increase the prevalence of GIS in USAID. GIS is great in making decisions, stuff like that. So again, here's just a little kind of visual of where I was really working at, which is this right here. To produce these two things, interactive and static maps, which we're really piloting is the use of interactive web maps that anyone can access as long as they have an internet connection. So capacity building. Creation of maps for the South America Regional Environment Program, which is the kind of overhead body that houses ECA, the initiative that I worked on, along with Dr. Salisbury and the rest of the students in the Amazon. And this was really to delineate locations, to show people where our projects were, what they were doing, the overlap, the gaps. And also we made an interactive map of Madre de Dios, which is a really complex conservation area with a lot of resource-rich, also a lot of illegal activities, so mining, log extraction. And also I worked, UNAMA, which is the Universidad Nacional Amazónica Madre de Dios, and the Proyecto Especial Madre de Dios, which are two. One is the university and one is a USAID funded project that works with the department there on GIS work. And I worked with a guy named Ronnie Fernandez. He's an awesome guy. Led me through the forest. We worked in, I helped me understand how logging a forest concession works. It was really interesting and probably one of the most fruitful experiences I had. So here's some pictures. This is Puerto Maldonado. Kind of a similar experience to deer. Motorcycles are the way you get around. Cars are rare there. This is a little snake. This is Pedro Lucho. He's really cute. This is a little snake, and that's when I was coming back from Brazil. I have a visa. That's okay. There's also Puerto Maldonado. This is a pretty iconic statue there. This is a view of the other side of Puerto. This is the Interoceanic Highway, and that's the snake again. This is a picture I thought was really interesting. It's a here they're rerouting a river. This is pretty. We should conserve the beauty of the landscape. Don't throw trash away. It's kind of funny. And here's the river that they're trying to reroute. Two more pictures. Pedro Lucho. Or that's a abandoned logging concession. So there's wood just being wasted. So what have I learned? This technical experience, I really had to work hard to ground in a real, a theory. So mapping is a practice. It's a social practice, and it really deals with social realities. People don't really think of it like this because, you're just drawing maps. You're putting pictures on a page and handing it to somebody to read. But understanding maps as a way of protest or commentary was really important for this experience. And this leads you to an understanding of mapping as politics. So working with the government agency, this was something that was really interesting. USAID wants to see all these pictures, wants to see these pretty maps, but they also want to be able to show everybody, look what percentage of the Amazon we're working in. This is how you can understand what USAID is doing as they see it as an individual, helping the Amazon in some ways. Also, relationships of power. The power of maps is really integral. Representing indigenous populations is a testy kind of area. Just kind of taking GPS points of indigenous land and then putting it on a map is representing their society, representing their cultural norms, which is a pretty interesting power relationship dynamic. So relationships of power, control, and spatiality are made explicit through the politics of maps, stemming from the root of politics, which is the influence over people, and that is what maps are used for, to influence people, to make decisions, and to really sway. So the last kind of, realm that I worked in, there was politics of mapping, the power of mapping, and the participation aspect of GIS. And this is what USAID is hopefully aiming towards with their use of ArcGIS Online, which is involving the community. It's making GIS context and issue-driven rather than technology-led. This seeks to emphasize community involvement and seeks to make the decisions more robust. And in conclusion, just really go. Everything happens somewhere. Geography rocks. And that's all I got for you.